All right, thanks for joining us for our Riverdale Park and New Carrollton Community Advisory Team meeting this go round. The meeting is being recorded, and all meeting material will be posted online at purplelinemd.com after the meeting. Again, please keep your microphones muted and your cameras off during the presentation, and please hold all your questions until after the presentation during the Q&A session. We will also ask that you keep your question and comments to 1 minute so that we can fit everybody in. And if we don't get to your question, we will definitely provide it in the Q&A that will be posted after the meeting. And for those of you that would like a live translation, the Teams meeting format can translate the meeting live, and instructions for how to turn on the translation function for our community liaison, Stephanie Villegas. Stephanie?
Bienvenidos. La aplicación Teams puede traducir esta reunión en vivo en varios idiomas, incluyendo español, árabe, chino, francés y portugués y muchos más. Las instrucciones para ver las traducciones en vivo están en la sección del chat. Gracias. Back to you, Carla.
Thanks, Stephanie. Okay, so tonight we're going to go through staff introductions, our project status video. We're going to talk about a construction update, work we've completed since the last CAT meeting, progress photos, and what you can expect for impacts upcoming. We'll touch a little bit on community engagement and then get into the Q&A. Tonight, we're going to have Ray Biggs II, our Senior Project Director with MTA, Doran Basso, our CEO at Purple Line Transit Partners, Hugo Fonterrage, our Project Executive with MTS, myself, Carla Julian, Tim Stevens, our segment lead for this area, Manuel Marino, who's our construction manager, and Matt Pripich, who will talk on our systems. The stations that we're going to touch on tonight are Riverdale Park North, UMD, Riverdale Park Kenilworth, Beacon Heights, East Pines, Glenridge, and New Carrollton. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Ray to introduce the fall progress video.
Thank you, Carla and Stephanie. Again, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. It was a very busy summer here at the Purple Line. So Chris, I don't want to waste any more time. Let's play the video highlighting some of this progress. Welcome to our Fall Progress Update video for 2024. We are here on Campus Drive at the University of Maryland, where we recently completed a lot of our summer construction work that completed the track installation all along Campus Drive. We are so excited that we have 5 light rail vehicles at our operations and maintenance facility, and we also completed 10 miles of track across the alignment. Did I also mention that we have over 17 miles of sidewalk that have been installed? Additionally, you can see the colorful canopies that are right behind me, and we have 19 stations that will be in construction by the end of this year. And we are so excited that we are moving forward, completing the momentum on the project, and continuing that going forward.
Crews have focused on many specific areas to minimize impacts and advance the project. In Prince George's County, crews prepare for track placement by establishing work zones in the center of University Boulevard. Traffic is shifted to the newly completed sections on either side of the road. At the University of Maryland, crews have successfully completed much of the heavy construction through the center of campus. This year, students arrived to find newly completed sidewalks, embedded tracks, paved roadways, and all lanes open on Campus Drive. Also in Prince George's County, crews opened 2 new roads, 64th Avenue and Mustang Drive. Both connect communities to Riverdale Road at signalized intersections. The flyover bridge from Kenilworth Avenue over East-West Highway has also been completed. Track crews completed the crossing of Rivertech Court and opened the road 3 weeks ahead of schedule. At the operations and maintenance facility, the new light rail vehicles are being prepared for testing.
I am honored and thrilled to stand here today at our operations and maintenance facility in front of this. Maryland, we have a train.
Good morning. I'm Holly Arnold, administrator of the MTA, and I am so thrilled to be here today to celebrate the arrival of the first of the Purple Line light rail vehicle. I want to do, huge congratulations to the Purple Line team. This team does not sleep. They are working all the time to deliver the Purple Line for Maryland, and I'm so thankful and grateful for them.
These vehicles are 142 feet long. That's nearly half of a football field, almost twice the size of a metro vehicle, and will be the longest light rail in North America. It'll hold up to 430 passengers. There will be 8 bike racks on board, as well as 8 dedicated wheelchair spaces accessible near the doors. These electric-powered LRVs will reduce energy and carbon emissions, as well as being quieter than other modes of transportation.
Over the summer, we worked very closely with our partners at CSX, WMATA, Montgomery County Parks, and Montgomery County Schools to complete a lot of construction work and installing track all across the alignment.
In Montgomery County, the Purple Line has successfully placed both sets of tracks across the Wayne Avenue and Dale Drive intersection prior to the start of the school year. They have also installed the complex curved track at Piney Branch Road and University Boulevard, and fully opened the Talbot Avenue Bridge. At the Silver Spring Transit Center, the LRV bridge over Colesville Road and the foundations and superstructure for the new mezzanine are taking shape. Crews also started the work to build a new and improved Spring Street Bridge by completing the bridge demolition during the WMATA summer shutdown. Station construction can be seen across the whole alignment, with station after station taking shape. The highlight of the station construction is the installation of the first Art in Transit artwork element at the Campus Drive UMD station. The artists at Legg Lewis Legg added a beautiful display of color that changes throughout the day and is a shining example of things to come at the Purple Line.
Thank you again for your patience, and while we continue construction, we are going to keep the momentum up across the alignment, moving from laying track into the testing phase of the light rail vehicles across the alignment. We are so excited about the Purple Line, and we know you are too. Thank you. And thank you everyone again for joining us tonight. We have a lot of people on tonight that will talk to the construction happening in the area. As we mentioned in the video, and you can see in your bottom left-hand corner of your screen there, we have the light rail vehicles that have arrived at the operation and maintenance facility off of Veterans Parkway. We actually have 5 that are in the facility right now. And you'll hear a little bit about the testing that will begin later this year. In that second photo, you can see the overhead catenary system. So the wires that are suspended that gives the power to the trains all along Veterans Parkway. You can see the green catenary poles that are along there. I invite you to take a ride on Veterans Parkway if you haven't, and you can really get a glimpse of what the system looks like. So if you move from left to right and you see the next to the last 2 photos there, those are from the University of Maryland. In the video, we highlighted a lot of progress that happened on University of Maryland, where we partnered with them to do a shutdown on Campus Drive. We're happy to report that we opened on time and returned Campus Drive back to operational and having vehicles go up and down it before school started. So a lot that happened over this past summer, but really the next big milestone that we're looking forward to is to really begin that testing on the test track later this year, which you'll hear more about. So with that, I will turn it over to our construction team. I believe Tim is going to be up to start on the construction update to give us some updates in this area.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Ray, for that. Evening, everyone. Yeah, Tim Stevens with the MTS on the construction portion of this. So obviously you went through, this is the area from College Park down to New Carrollton Station. So just kicking off here with the Riverdale Park North Station. Progress is quite advanced along here with the canopy glass installed, windscreens installed, and benches. So you get a good idea for what the station's looking like at a close to complete area through here, and then placing security fence around just so that we can keep these areas pristine as we continue construction. Through to the Rivertech court. This is a big one that we had to push through during the school holiday closure. So we had a few issues as we progressed through here, but were successful in getting the track in and actually got it completed 3 weeks before school went back at the local school on Rivertech there. Further along River Road, continuing on the intersection work at the Hague Drive, continue to push towards getting that to a signalised intersection as well, similar to what Rivertech will eventually be signalised as well. Progress the majority of our conduit and utility work along this area for the systems, and then should start to see the tracks being installed along River Road in the coming few months. Really, we should start to see a lot of track construction in this portion of the project. And then obviously with that River Road, there'll be another traffic switch coming up there to progress the next and final quadrant of that build out at Hague. With Kenilworth Avenue, so you can get a good idea, especially in this picture here, on how it's going to look. We got to see in the video at the start there how University Boulevard gets split out and the track construction goes down the middle of the roadway. That'll be the same with Kenilworth. So we can see in the top half of the photo there where the track will progress up onto the bridge. We'll be extending that pathway. Hopefully just prior to Thanksgiving, we'll extend that center of the roadway all the way up to River Road. Some ongoing works in this area is the sand filter within the parking lot construction there at the auto parts. We expect to see that completed hopefully over the coming few weeks, and yeah, get some further construction in this area, which would be nice to see. The Riverdale Park, Kenilworth. So this is the continuation of the bridge, the complex aerial station. So as we heard there, we've completed the bridge construction in its majority area over the intersection. We have some utility work to finish up on the bridge, and then we put the fencing on it, and then begin track construction through here as well. And then in this area, as you can see, the canopies and everything are installed on the actual deck. So now we're working to build the main access up to that station as well, which will be elevator shafts. There'll be 2 elevators and 2 stair towers to bring everyone up to this station. Further along on the east-west highway, yeah, like I just spoke there, completed the girders and the bridge deck, so it's progressed a little bit from those photos. And then, yeah, installing the track in here, hopefully this year on that bridge. Up at Mustang Drive, so as we mentioned there, we realigned this so that it tees up better with the 62nd place, so it's a bit more of a squared intersection. We've installed all the utilities through here and hopefully start to see some track installation here in the next few months on essentially coming down from the bridge through Mustang, connecting through 64th Avenue, and head down towards the BW Parkways. This just shows a bit more detail there on the reconfiguration of that. So the Mustang does line up a little bit better with 62nd, sorry, as previously. 64th is the reopened, and we have closed off and will be working on the cul-de-sac construction of 63rd and East Pine Drive. Down towards the bend of the Veterans and Riverdale Road, so we can see there the Beacon Heights station coming along nicely, which coincides with the 67th closure that we currently have. But the station itself, you can see we've built the wall behind it that sets up the alignment of the track, and we hope to continue this station, make it look more in its final format over the coming next couple of months with the track installation. It'll look as it will in permanent configuration. With the 66th and 67th Avenue, so if you've traveled this area, it is a busy little section of work. You can see how much resources we're putting into this area to try and accelerate through and get this completed as quickly and painlessly as possible for the traveling public in this area. So we've got the 67th closure at the moment. We're targeting end of this month to get that area reopened up under a full signalized intersection, which that will come with the temporary closure of 66th Avenue and the permanent closure of 67th Place, which will become cul-de-sac at the end there. 66th will be closed just temporarily while we build the embedded track portion through here. So it'll be a concrete track similar to the ones we saw at Mustang Drive and Rivertech, and then we'll get that reopened up again in the near future. And then, yes, it's just further to 67th Place there, further down to the corner. We essentially continue that wall around the corner, which will take the place of what was 67th Place, so that we can set this track up to take the corner and take the trains around that reasonably tight little bend down onto Veterans Parkway. Onto Veterans Parkway, so that's what the ballasted sections, the main rail system will look like on this project as it flows and progresses from this area, through the full alignment to Bethesda. So as you see out there, there's the ballasted track installed. The OCS poles, the catenary poles that Ray was mentioning, have been installed. The OCS wires, the contact wires, have been installed. And Matt will be able to give a bit more information on that up here soon, and when we expect to start seeing some trains running along this track that's ready to go. Through the operations facility there, so we've completed the track installation in this yard, completed the stormwater drainage. As mentioned, we've been receiving LRVs, and we're continuing on with the OCS installation in the back portion of the yard as well, and hoping very soon to complete the transition of this to being not so much of a construction area and more into an operational facility to service the entire alignment. Through to Annapolis Road, another area that we're pushing through here is as quickly as we can to get this here into a permanent fix, a permanent resolution of how this will be. You can see out there at the moment, we've completed 2 of the 3 phases. We're currently in the 3rd with track installation ongoing right now. We hope to see that track finish being installed this week so that we can start to progress this into the next phase, which will be more about building out the complete installation and build out of the intersection with all of the new traffic signals, all of the new pedestrian crossings, working on that over the next couple months. So unfortunately, there is a little bit more work to be done with this intersection, but we're certainly progressing this as quickly as we possibly can to get that to the final resolution. Glenridge Station, it's majorly completed. As you can see there, the glass is on, the benches are in, everything's pretty much done. We just have the upcoming work with the track now being installed all the way through to the station. We'll work to finish off what we call the flat works, the concrete work, the sidewalks, the artwork installations. So hopefully we can show some finished pictures for the next catenary meeting. Down onto Allen Road. So here is where we have the bulk of the embedded track for this portion. So we've completed the traffic signal at Veterans Parkway. We've been installing OCS poles similar to was on Veterans. We've closed Allen Road from Hanson Oaks to Emerson Place, which you can see in that image there with the track. Track is now installed. Upcoming to be early next month now, will be the temporary closure of Emerson Place. So we're pushing to get the track installed there in a 2-week shutdown. And then we'll be reopening from Emerson Place all the way back to Veterans Parkway. On one side of this road will be opened up to 2-way traffic. So we can get that finally for the residents down there opened up to veterans again. With that, we'll complete a closure from Emerson Place down to flow into the New Carrollton WMATA facility there, where we end the alignment. This here is showing the Emerson Place temporary closure. So yeah, targeting November 8th for this one. Complete the track and have it reopened. The target is to have that by Thanksgiving to reopen that. But this is the detour along the alignment there. New Carrollton Station. So progressing through here, we have the temporary bus loop built, which is the future kiss and ride. You can kind of see in the middle of that section there where the cars are parked. That'll be the bus loop, the temporary bus loop. We are targeting for that switch later this month, while we jump in and build the final portion, which will be the permanent bus loop, which the buses are currently in. We'll build that and reconfigure with some new walls for the track alignment to delineate it nicely, and get that completed to its final tie into the WMATA station at the end of the alignment here. And then handing over to Matt Perpich.
Matt, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Sorry about that, guys. Good evening, everybody. So I'm going to jump into some exciting news here, as alluded to by some of the other members here. The test track along veterans and the testing upcoming this fall. So as Tim showed us there, the track work is complete along veterans and through the OMF maintenance facility. It's approximately 1 mile parallel to 410 veterans between Annapolis and Riverdale Road. So this test track was chosen for its seclusion from the roadways and provides us a place to test our LRVs to make sure that they are performing and meeting the operational standards that they were designed to. So looking forward to getting these things out there for their proof of design and getting to see them travel up and down the tracks. Okay, so the testing of the trains. A couple of the things that are going to be tested: the braking systems, the propulsion systems. Are they stopping and accelerating as they were designed to do? As well as some of the other vehicle safety systems, the automatic vehicle location systems and emergency communications on the LRVs. This also provides the opportunity to start training the actual train operators or drivers, as well as we've been undertaking training with our local first responders. So we have the local police, fire departments have been joining us in our facility for trainings on the new system and the new vehicles, and establishing the procedures that are needed to keep everybody safe and respond to any emergencies on the system. So one thing that we really want to touch on is the site safety of this test track. There will be no road crossings with the vehicles during the testing phase, and they will be contained within the dedicated alignment. So we won't have any interactions with the public at this point of the testing, and the vehicles are equipped with state-of-the-art overrun protection. So even in the event of some type of personnel emergency with the train operators, they are equipped with automatic protections that will react and stop any moving trains. As others mentioned, we do have the 5 LRVs. They're delivered to the facility. They've been assembled and static tested, meaning they've been run through the paces there in the shop and their systems checked out. The track work for the OMF facility yard and the test tracks and accessory tracks have been completed. Inspection and testing of those tracks is ongoing and in its final phases here. We have the OCS installed, which of course will power these trains. That testing, along with the traction power substations that power these systems. This is all wrapping up in the testing phase, leading to our ability to get these trains out there and moving up and down the track. So safety being the top priority always. LRVs will be seen in this area. We do want to mention that obviously the everyone's accommodation of respecting that and not trying to enter the facility or anything like that when trains are moving. We will have our safety fencing and barricades and everything in place. So it's important to remember that we are entering into this operational phase of testing the trains on this track, and we do appreciate everyone's respecting of those safety delineations and fencing. I'll pass it back off to Carla.
Thanks, Matt. Next slide. So we are out in the community a good bit. The Purple Line attended the new Carrollton National Night Out this year. If there's events that we can be present at that we don't know about and you guys want to reach out to us, please let us know. And you can always get in touch with the outreach team at outreach@purplelinemd.com. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to John Undelin from Purple Line Transit Partners.
All right, thanks, Carla. Well, you've just heard from Matt about safety on our test tracks and the LRVs. But of course, we really want to make sure that everyone traveling in and around the Purple Line tracks stay safe. And that's why I'm here to talk about bike, scooter, and skateboard safety. You know, if you're on one of those vehicles with the smaller, thinner tires, you really do need to be careful as you cross the tracks. You just heard in the video Ray talking about we put down 10 miles of track. And Tim's construction report was pretty much all about additional track being put down here locally. So it's really important that when you're crossing the track to do so perpendicular to the track. So you don't accidentally get your wheel caught in the tracks. It's also important to use crosswalks, again, crossing at the right angle to the tracks. And as we enter fall and winter with some foul weather, if you're in a car or a truck, it's important as you're crossing the tracks to bear in mind that the steel tracks can be slick when wet. Next slide. So something we're really always excited to talk about, which has really been fulfilling for our Purple Line team, is our Beyond the Rails community grant program. Every half year, we award 6 grants to community groups that are doing good along our alignment. And we've really enjoyed visiting with many of the award winners. You know, here in this photo, we were meeting with the Sligo Peak Elementary and Silver Spring International Middle School's outdoor classroom program. Another program that we've got to know real well, just around the corner from Riverdale Park, is the Community Forklift in Hyattsville. They're a group that collects new and gently used building materials and household items like washing machines and the like to make them available to the community at low cost. So you see the parameters of the program here. We're putting the word out for the next round of 6 grants. November 30th is the deadline. So if you've got a cause, if you've got a group, you've got about 6 weeks to get your application in. It's a super simple process, just a 2-page application. And if you've got any questions or would like some help in filling out the application, we're here to help. You can just hit us at the grants@purplelinepartners.com email. And there's you can see here there's additional information on our Beyond the Rails program here on the purplelinemd.com website. With that, I'm going to turn it back to Ray to talk about our new and improved website.
Appreciate that, John. As John mentioned, we refreshed our website over this summer in case you missed it. It looks a little bit different, but it's packed with a lot of information that would be useful, may help to inform your different travels on a daily basis. As you can see, that yellow rectangle, the first rectangle on the home page, is all the construction updates and detours. Once you click on that, it takes you to this map. It's sort of an interactive map that allows you to see all the 16 miles and the 21 stations we have along the Purple Line. And you can see the artistic renderings of those stations and the art that we have at each of those stations. It allows you to see where those detours are taking place, how long they're in place, and to be able to get some of the news updates of what's happening with the project. We also have a calendar on there of any upcoming meetings, including like the meeting we're having tonight, and any events of where the Purple Line will be present. And I also want to highlight that we have the business section where we talk about the business engagement and how to really get to those grants and that John was just mentioning. So we want to encourage you to go to our website to keep in contact with us. It's both on the web browser and on the mobile. And as you can see here, if you have any questions, as we said throughout tonight, you can always email us at outreach@purplelinемd.com or just give us a call and someone will pick up the phone, answer your questions, and we'll follow up as quick as possible to any questions you may have there. Media, we have a special email for you if you have any questions for us about the Purple Line and want some information. And probably the quickest way, now that we are all using mobile phones, is to follow us on social media if you use any of the social media platforms. We are on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Instagram. And all of the information that we've been talking about, we give highlights of it across those platforms that leads you to other links that can help you get even more information if you want to find out additional information on the project. So with that, now we'll turn it over to Carla to jump into the question section of the meeting tonight.
Thanks, Ray. So if you would like to ask questions, you can raise your hand by clicking the button on the top of your screen that has the hand and says raise below it. You can also put your message in the chat as well. And with that, I see, Jeff, you have your hand up, so why don't you go first?
Thank you. Basically, I've got a couple questions concerning the 410, 450 intersection. And as you had said, you're hoping to have the track completed this week. Once that happens, will the full road be opened up? And when you do the other things like the traffic lights and those kinds of things, I'm assuming that's just going to be on a temporary day or two basis where you're actually having to close down traffic. So the main question is, once the track work is in, will all the lanes on 450, both east and west of 410, be open completely? And will that be the norm from then on?
Tim, if you can come on and
Yeah,
respond.
no problem. So unfortunately, no.
Okay.
The short answer is no. So basically, just to give a bigger picture on that and how it's going to flow. So we'll continue the build out of track this week. Then we'll do our curb gutter flat work, paving essentially. And then the way that this intersection is designed in its final configuration, there's actually a mast arm. So one of the traffic signals itself goes right in the middle of the 450. So right where that left turn lane is from 450 into Veterans, that is where the mast arm gets installed. So there'll be future traffic switches essentially to build that. Then once that's built, then we'll be able to activate final. So long story short, unfortunately, no, there is still some future traffic switches and some future work in that intersection to be done.
Mhm. Okay. What about opening the two left-hand lanes off of 410 that were built a couple of years ago and have been kind of waiting, I think, for the full construction on 450 be completed? When are those two lanes gonna open up? Do you have an idea yet?
Which travel lane? Sorry, you heading which
Oh,
direction
okay,
you heading
you're
on
coming
410?
up 410 to
Yep.
450.
Yep.
There were basically, it had
Two
been a
left
single
turns?
left-hand turn onto 450 heading west. A couple of years ago, it was basically expanded to 2 lanes, but they've never been opened.
Right.
So that you have 2 lanes turning left from 410 onto
Yeah, I
450.
understand. So that's all a part of the final. So our current essentially we need to build out the signal plans that we have. So that will be activated on the permanent configuration. So we are pushing as quick as we can to get that, but that'll stay as it is until we have the permanent configuration built out there.
Mhm. And is there an estimate on the time on when the permanent configuration is going to be finished?
So pending all goes well this week, we're just waiting on a confirmation on when we can get this switch, call it back a phase. So the phase we will be going into is the step 2 again, where we split traffic. And then we'll have the build out. The build out is reasonably complex in this area, but I mean we're definitely targeting this year for that intersection to be opened up in its full configuration.
Okay, so by the end of the year is the hope.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, good. Thank you. I'll let somebody else talk. I may have some other questions later. Thank you.
All right, appreciate that, Jeff. I'll just go in order. We have a few people that have their hands up. So Antoine, if you want to unmute yourself, go ahead and ask your question.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for your time. Also want to say thank you for all the work that's being done. We, as a resident in Riverdale, you could definitely see a lot of the work and tracks being installed. We really appreciate it. We're happy to see that the Purple Line will be here for us soon. My question, I have a couple questions, but I wanted to follow up about street lighting. I have been emailing and asking for a while about street lighting along Riverdale Road from Mustang Drive to Veterans Parkway. And the last time I followed up an email was back on August 22nd and still haven't got a response. Was talking with the team, I guess, I'm assuming, and they concur that it's basically pitch black, dark along Riverdale Road, where the construction is happening at for the Purple Line. And it's a big public safety issue. And I want to know if we could get some temporary lighting, especially at the intersection of Mustang Drive and Riverdale Road. It's completely dark. And just with the amount of traffic that's flowing through there, it's getting dark earlier, as well as the amount of people that are catching buses for the F4, T18. We really need some lighting. We haven't had lighting throughout the whole project. When the utilities were moved, the lighting was taken away from us. And we had everywhere else along the project has gotten their lighting replaced. I just seen lighting was replaced on Kenilworth Avenue between Riverdale Road and Campus Drive. And it's like, okay, well, what about us? You know what I mean? Because people do catch buses. It's getting dark later. And I wanted to just follow up if something can be done about lighting, because we have no lighting from Mustang Drive to Veterans Parkway along Riverdale Road. It's no lighting at all.
I appreciate that question, Antoine. I do know that we've been looking into this, and Tim, I don't know if you have the latest update.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So you would have seen we have started the installation of the actual foundation. So I know that Kenilworth, essentially, that the lighting system on that road gets put onto the utility poles, so the overhead poles that are carrying power and the communication. So on Riverdale, we have started the installation of the foundations for that. So you would have seen a few smaller ones, essentially, that are built. We will start tying all them in with conduits starting this coming Monday, actually. And then we will start the installation of lighting. Should be by the end of this month, we'll start putting actual poles up and tie them into the power network basically, and should see them, lit up soon after that. So, and that's for the Mustang to BW area. We have all the foundations in there. We'll continue that construction of the lighting foundations from BW towards Veterans Parkway, sequentially after that. And then we'll take that same crew and head towards River Road to get that area lit up next, essentially. So it's coming very soon.
Let me ask, so there would be no along Riverdale Road between Mustang Drive and Veterans Parkway, there would be no lights on the utility poles that can help us out, because like I said, we've been like this since the construction started, and it's pretty dark. Like, it's really pretty dark, and I'm just trying to figure out, is something, I understand you guys are doing your best. It's a lot going on with construction and getting those physical poles installed, but what were we supposed to do now? Because riding through there at 8:30 at night, someone jacks out, seen it last night, someone almost got killed. I'm just trying to figure out how we can relieve this, because this is a public safety issue. This is a very urbanized area.
Yeah, so Tim, I was going to ask, Antoine's asking specifically about the temporary lighting. You're answering more on the permanent lighting. Any updates on temporary lighting until the permanent lighting is put in place?
I mean, I can definitely check back with the team on that to see if we can get light towers or something out there in the temporary, but the permanent lighting is a few weeks away.
Antoine, let us take that and we'll make sure we get response back to you regarding temporary lighting.
Okay, that would be great. I have another question I want to ask. When and this wasn't necessarily mentioned, but Tim, when will the installation of track begin for the entrance of the BW Parkway going south towards Washington, D.C.?
So that track potentially late this year, most likely, first quarter of next year for that crossing of the parkway.
Okay. Also, I wanted to bring up the intersection at Mustang Drive at Patterson Street. We was just completed with the reopening of Mustang Drive. I wanted to know, is there any more modifications going to be done to the intersection? I see that asphalt still need to be poured somewhat, but it's kind of coming up Mustang Drive. You don't see cars coming out of Patterson Street, and then coming down Patterson Street to Mustang Drive, it's like a blind spot when you're making the left. You don't see cars. You have cars parked on both sides. With the reconfiguration of the street, it's now at a different angle, and everyone has to adjust to it. But it's still some blind spots. So I want to know if anything else was going to be done. I did look at the plans, but I didn't see much. So I was just curious if anything else was going to be done.
I'll definitely take a look into that. As far as the actual civil construction, there is a little bit more curb and gutter and sidewalk to go in there, but the actual physical construction is complete. But I'll definitely take a look if there's any signage that we can add to that area to make it a bit clearer.
Okay, and my last question is to the Purple Line team overall. So as you probably can tell, I live in the East Pines neighborhood, literally off of Mustang Drive. And as I've been reviewing the plans, I did not see us having direct access to the Kenilworth Riverdale road station. And I wanted to know if that ever came up, has it been mitigated? Because we are within a half mile of the station, but don't have direct access, because I don't see sidewalks continuing down Riverdale Road to the station. And I know we do have a path off of Greenville Parkway near Creek. I don't know if that's going to be improved, but I just want to know how will we access the station from the East Pines Mustang Drive neighborhood?
I can probably answer this, and Tim, you can jump in if you want to add a little bit more. But there is sidewalk on both sides of the road along Riverdale that will be installed that goes all the way down to Kenilworth. You'll be able to take the stairs or the elevator up to the.
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to make sure that was available so we can use the service. Thank you so much. I'm all done. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move to the Nets. Michael?
Yes, how are you?
Doing well.
Okay, you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, that stretch of road between BW Parkway and Veterans Parkway, It's very, I guess, hilly or lumpy. It's very difficult to drive on. Are there any plans to try and smooth that out as much as possible so it's much easier to drive? And it's taking a toll on the vehicles in this area.
Can you describe
Yeah.
the area again, just to make sure before Tim jumps in?
You were talking to me?
Yes.
What was your question again?
What's the area again?
It's that stretch of road between Baltimore Washington Parkway and Veterans Parkway
Okay,
on Kenilworth Avenue.
got it.
Yes,
So, yeah, so I believe the main area of I guess the main area there would be at the 67th Avenue crossing under those traffic signals. So once the track's installed, which the track installation similar to Annapolis, that started this week through here. Once we have that track installed, which it's about a 2 and a little bit week process for that, we'll come back in and we'll be doing a repaving, down 67th through that intersection to level it all out before we reopen that intersection up into its call it final configuration. So there'll be work there, if not in the next 3 weeks, within the next 4 for sure.
Okay, excellent. 3 to 4 weeks. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
I appreciate that, Michael. Over to you, Matt, if you want to unmute yourself. Matt Elm.
Yep, thank you. I was curious with the new intersections that you're going to be signalizing and all of that. If are you going to be putting in? I assume it's there's some kind of automation, something to coordinate between those intersections to kind of limit how much the light rail vehicles have to stop at those. Is there anything else that you're planning to include in that in terms of like flexible signal timing for pedestrians and bikers and cars that are just stopped at a red light when there's not traffic coming the other way or anything like that?
Maybe Matt would be the best one to come on and answer that one.
Okay, I will do my best to answer this one. So the traffic signal timing will follow the normal standards. The timing for all the traffic signals along the alignment will be adjusted to account for the LRV passages. And yes, there is some highly sophisticated systems that allow the trains to communicate with the traffic signals so that they do not operate solely on a clock. If a train is running ahead or behind, they will be able to adjust that timing. But the standard timings for pedestrians and traffic essentially will be maintained with the additional cycle provided for the LRVs.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just keep going down the list and then we'll jump over to the chat. I see someone on a number 206. If you can unmute yourself and then answer your question.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
This is about the same intersection, the first question, Veterans and Annapolis. And first of all, thank you for painting the lane, the new lanes. Couple questions. One, is there any documented number of accidents that have happened? If so, what is that number in the whole section? I've almost been hit multiple times. So the second question is, since this is going to take some more time until it's fully open, like all the lanes, can you guys please put signs much further before the intersection to let motorists know what the configuration is? Because a lot of the near accidents or accidents, really, I'm assuming there are accidents, is because motorists don't know until they're literally on the intersection what's happening with the traffic. So I appreciate the painted lines, thank you, but I'm just wondering, since it's going to be changing again and continue for some time, how, is there a possibility to have signage much further in advance? Thank you.
All right. On the documented number of accidents, we'll have to follow up on that to get you the information. So we'll follow up. But Tim, if you can come back on and answer the questions about the signs and the configuration of the intersection.
Sure, yeah. We can look at signages. Essentially, the way that we build out these intersections is it's an approved plan that goes through, you know, SHA, and we can't really modify these plans too much, unfortunately, without getting the stakeholder buy-in, which is SHA essentially on this. We can definitely take these actions back to them and put requests in for additional signages earlier out that you know will have lane shift essentially signs to try and alleviate this, because like I was saying earlier, that there are future switches as well that will have to take place in this intersection. It's not just the one that we're in and then final. So there are, you know, more works and more changes to come through there.
All right. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Moving right along, Brad, I think you have a question in the chat also. We may have answered it, but if not, if you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Can you hear us, Brad? All right. Brad, given that we can't hear you, if you can just type it in the chat, and we'll jump over to the chat now, and then we'll come back to the hands that are up. So Carla, over to you for the questions in the chat.
Okay. He can hear us, but we cannot hear him. His question in the chat is, can we speak more about the road crossing of 450 construction dates and road closures?
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, any more? So that was the one that's the 450 Annapolis one we've spoken about. What specifically more, I guess, are we looking for there?
Let me see if he's got any more tapped in here.
Don't see anything, Carla. I believe
I don't
that
either.
question came in at the same time. The gentleman was asking the question earlier too. So
Okay, Brad says he's going to dial in.
okay.
So we'll wait for you, Brad, and come back to you. Ray, do you want me to keep going through chat, or did you want to do hands up still?
Let's keep going through chat, and then we'll go back to hands up.
And Cynthia, I'm going to get to you. I'm going to start at the top, and we'll read down to you, Cynthia. So just give us just a sec here. First question is, has the Glen Ridge Maintenance and Operation Facility begun hiring for maintenance staff?
All right, can y'all hear me now? I'm sorry, I'm dialed in. This is Brad.
Yes, we can hear you, Brad.
All right.
Let us answer. Ray, do you want to take
All
this
right.
first question, and then Brad will come to you?
So-
Just give us 1 sec.
Sure, no problem.
Ray, the question. Oh, go ahead.
The hiring for the maintenance staff.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's see, Matt. I don't know if you are probably the best person to answer this.
I think.
I believe that they have started. Well, I know that they have started populating certain key management in the facility that they need to initiate their operations and start getting into maintenance of the LRVs we have there. I am not 100% up to speed on their forecasted hiring and when they're going to start that. But we can go back to the maintenance entity, and I'm sure they have some type of outreach planned for their hiring needs, and we can get that out to the community.
Appreciate that.
Thanks.
All right, Carla, I'll take it and go back to Brad. Let's try it again.
All right, I apologize.
Oh, good.
So yes, you guys had answered my questions about the 450. But my other question is about the intersection of Rittenhouse and Kenilworth. Is closed to cross traffic, and is there a expected date for when that intersection will be open for vehicles to turn into Rittenhouse and turn, make a left off of Rittenhouse and onto Kenilworth?
Yep, I can take that one, Ray. So Rittenhouse, you probably see if you travel that road. We started demolition of the roadway this week, essentially. Maybe it started last week. I can't remember now. Next step, once we get that all prepped up, will be installation of the track through there. Based on how we're currently looking, we expect to have track in this year through there, and get that reopened. It's a little while away, but we're looking for this year to have Rittenhouse completed.
Great, thank you. And then my other question was concerns of 58th and East-West Highway. Do you know who is in charge of the timing of those lights and the pedestrian crossing safety issues? Is that state highway? Is that SHA?
Yeah, so similar to all the lights across the alignment, the timing of them is dictated by state highways. Is there a certain travel direction that's a concern?
Yeah, the westbound on East-West Highway, the timing of Kenilworth and the timing of 58th has changed, and traffic backs up into the intersection of East-West and 58th, so that cross traffic can't continue. Like, vehicles end up getting stuck in the middle of the intersection pretty much every cycle. So I wanted to reach out to the responsible party.
I think I see Robert Stewart on this call too from SHA. I mean, we can certainly work with SHA to get back to you, but Robert, I don't know if you have anything you might want to add right now.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep. Yes.
Hi, yeah, we can take that information back to our District 3 office, and we'll coordinate with our signal shop to see if they can modify the signal timing or if it's already optimized for the whole system. So we'll look into it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it seems like if 58th could change a little bit sooner so that traffic isn't getting stuck in the intersection. And then there's also the pedestrian crossing signals are not really operational. So if they could look at that as well.
Okay, yep, we'll add that to the list for them to look into. Is it the pedestrian crossings at 58th or is it at Kenilworth?
It's 58th and East-West, yes.
Okay, all right, noted. Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you for everyone's time.
Thank you, Brett. So Carla, if we want to jump back into the chat, I know we have a few questions, and everyone, I do see your hand still up. So we'll jump back to the questions with the people with the hands up too.
Sure. Next, we're going to move to Cynthia. For at least 2 years, street light issues on Veterans Parkway, Highway 410 eastbound towards Route 50 eastbound from Annapolis Road to Pennsy Drive. Please get Pepco to get those street lights operational. Some are on and some are off. Public safety issue. I think some of those might be outside of the project right of way. So I think, Cynthia, we can help you coordinate with I think some of those may be SHA. We can verify that they're not within the project LOD, but I think some of those are outside of our LOD. Next question from Cynthia is, have we estimated minutes wise how long it'll take motorists to get through the intersection of Route 450 Annapolis Road and Veterans Parkway once the test track is active and testing? That intersection is causing long backups onto Route 450 Annapolis Road westbound and 76th Avenue intersection side. The Route 450 Annapolis Road at 76th Avenue intersection is blocked every day at all times of the day, and the median has been removed at 76th Avenue, which is encouraging illegal U-turns. Very dangerous driving very dangerous driving conditions. Are you aware that a Lincoln car dealership, Route 450 Annapolis Road eastbound side, is vacant and a builder wants to construct 300 apartment units plus commercial space? I haven't heard Purple Line address how that will impact the already over-congested Route 450 Annapolis Road and Veterans Parkway intersection.
Carla, I can probably take the first. So what we can do, we'll, because we meet with SHA on a monthly or biweekly basis and have conversations. We can have this conversation with them to find out the information of the estimated minutes, and also look into any details that may be happening with the TOD that's happening there that you mentioned about the 300 apartment units, and what impact that may have on 450.
Just to jump in on the very first part of the question, the test track activities will not cross Annapolis. So we are going to stop short on the west side of the intersection and test from there back to the west, down to the curve at Beacon Heights. So there will not be impacts to that intersection for this initial phase of dynamically testing the trains.
Appreciate that clarification, Matt. One thing to note, that's the initial testing, and then eventually once we get to the full alignment, we will eventually be crossing there. So back to you, Carla.
Okay, next question from Lisa. Will both 66th Place Avenue be closed along with the entrance at 295?
Tim, I believe you talked to about half of this.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to wrap my head around the roads there. So yeah, 66th Avenue will be closed, but BW Parkway will be open. So the off-ramp will be open. We've already installed the track across the northbound off-ramp. So that track will be continued through 67th under that closure. Oh, sorry, through 66th under that temporary closure that will follow the opening of 67th, which will be the signalized intersection again.
So let me just be clear. So it's not the off-ramp of 295, but it's that little turn that we're all fighting to get into right now, right on the corner of the shopping center. I don't know that. I think that I don't know what number street that is.
I think it's 66.
Maybe
It's 66.
66th?
No,
Yeah.
66 is Suicide Hill. So 67th is where the Exxon gas station used to be. And then
So
whatever that other gas station was.
67.
What is that street?
66.
That's 66. So it goes the Parkway, then 66th, then it goes 67th Avenue, then 67th Place at the very end there.
Okay, so so that was my question. Was 66 and 67th Place, which is going to be turned into a cul-de-sac, will those two be closed at the same time, only leaving one way to get in and out?
Yes, that is how the construction will flow through there.
Is there a timeline when we're going to get a second, and will the second entrance in? Because you're talking Beacon Heights has 4,000 homes. Not even including, the apartments and stuff. And then my small community of only 91, but you have people trying to get out of one road Yes, they can go back through the neighborhood, but then that's going to cause an influx of cars going through the neighborhood as well. So it's going to be traffic jams throughout. And how long is that light going to be for those who have no choice but to go out at that traffic light?
We can check. I'll check on the design for that with signal timing to see if there is a difference, I guess, between when 66 is closed and when it's open. I believe probably the assumption is that it's no change, but I can check on that part of the question. But the 66th, we have been able to progress a lot of the work ahead of time before we did the closure of 67th. So we have the storm drain installed. We have the duct bank, the communication backbone of the system installed, essentially right up to the edges of 66th. We don't want to go and impact that road any more than it already is. That's why we've held off on the final piece of the communication backbone through there, just so that when we do that shutdown, it's essentially becomes a track project. So the same as the speed we go through some of these other intersections, we're trying to make that 66 the same way. So yeah, we're doing all we can to make it as quick as possible.
Okay, is there any consideration? I know we've been in talks trying to figure out if there's going to be a reconfiguration of the existing turning in, because right now there's a county police officer that sits there in a little triangle. And I'm not sure what the function of that police officer is, because I know it's not to direct traffic, but that vehicle is obstructing the view. You can't even see around that vehicle when it's there. Sometimes it's a car, but most of the time it's an SUV, and you have people trying to turn in and people trying to come out at the same time. And I mean, myself, it was a 4-car head-on collision, and I was part of that. I was blowing the horn, and the police officer just looked straight ahead, never even acknowledged what was going on. But there's not enough indicators for anyone coming to up on that section to know who's on first, who's on second. It's just the wild, wild west.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely address that with the police officer. The intention behind that was to try and add some clearance and some more, visibility to the intersection. But if it's, proving to be the opposite, then we'll definitely address that situation.
Yeah, it's a catch-22, because yes, it prevents people from coming out of Patterson and coming onto that 66th Street. It prevents them from going right and then whipping a U-turn just to get out, because they can't go straight and make a left.
Right.
But at the same time, you can't see around the vehicle either.
Yeah, we'll have that discussion with the police officers that are there daily and see if they can, relocate their vehicles so that there is still obviously visibility of, a presence on site, whilst also creating a better view for for yourself and for people trying to get out of that intersection.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Lisa. Carla, I'm gonna jump to the hands that are up. Trying to follow the order that's here. I believe some hands are left over from when we were taking some questions. So I'm gonna start with Jeff. If you had another question.
Yes, thank you for the second one. First of all, I want to agree with the one comment that you had as far as the signage and getting it further back from the intersections, and not only just telling people, hey, lane changes ahead, but at least some indication of we're necking down to 2 lanes, or there's going to be 1 lane turning right, 1 turning left, 1 going straight, so people can start getting into the lanes they need to get into well before they get to those intersections. Secondly, I just wanted to ask a question as far as the access to the Glenridge Shopping Center off of 410. When is that going to be opened up, especially considering the line below it is going to be completed fairly shortly for the test track.
So that intersection will also become a signalized intersection in the future. I've got a wall that I need to construct first, essentially on the off side of that area, so that I can build that intersection fully out. Really, to be honest, we'll be looking at middle of next year that has a potential even to open up to the parking lot there.
Okay. Thank you. One other thing I just wanted to mention, we were talking, that came up that there's a proposal for a 350 unit apartment complex at the old Lincoln Mercury dealer. There's also a proposal that's a little bit further ahead for 250 units in the wooded lot that's right behind the Glen Ridge station. So if you're going to be looking at the what's happening at the Lincoln Mercury, you need to look at that one as well. And I'm sure once the Purple Line comes in, we're going to see many more apartment buildings popping up right around the Purple Line. Thank you.
Appreciate that, Jeff. We'll jump to Monica. If you unmute yourself.
Hi, yes, Monica here with East Pines. I had a concern or question regarding, we're on 64th and Riverdale Road, and currently you guys have some temporary stop signs. Are there plans to permanently install those stop signs? Because right now, like I said, sometimes I don't know if the homeowner moves them or not, but is there a plan to have the stop signs there permanently? I know last week I attended a meeting and it said there was a plan to put sidewalks on Patterson Street, but my concern is about the stop signs. And the second part to that is if there can be some sort of no parking near the stop sign going into the neighborhood, because usually there's vehicles parked on top of the curb or blocking the view to either turn left or right.
Yeah, we can definitely get out there and make those. I'm assuming that we must have them currently just sitting on a ground sign. We can go and make them, in-ground signs so that they can't be easily relocated if that has been occurring. So that's per specification. And I'll also check, what signage is required, because we'll see what has to be done with these parking in stop corners.
Okay, yes, thank you. And then the last thing is who's in charge of the maintenance? The grass is like 4 feet high.
In that same area?
Yep, at the 64th Avenue and Patterson Street. There's a nice sidewalk, but there's the grass is really, really tall. Lots of trash as well. We're gonna do a cleanup trash on Saturday, but if someone can go cut the grass or whoever's in charge of cutting the grass, that'll be great.
Yeah, I'll get that put under. We essentially have this segment alone has a dedicated crew that their sole job is to run around and address any issues like this. So I'll definitely get that added to their list.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Monica. Loretta, and then Joel, I'll jump to you. So Loretta, if you can unmute yourself.
Yes, good afternoon. My concern is 67th Avenue. Is there any way that you can put a temporary sign, a stop light at 67th Avenue? Because since you've taken the stoplight on 66th Avenue away, you're waiting for a massive accident, because the cars that are coming down 67th Avenue trying to get on Riverdale Road, they are having a hard time trying to get on Riverdale Road because the traffic are going in both directions, and it's hard for the cars to come out of 67 to get onto Riverdale Road unless they make the right, go all the way down to Auburn, then turn around and come all the way back up to get on Baltimore Washington Parkway. So is there any way that you can put a temporary stoplight there?
Loretta, I think you mean 66, because we can't
Is
even
that
get to
the
67.
well,
Yeah,
60, isn't 66 the street that we were coming out of?
Yeah, 66
Okay,
is
what's
where
the
that
street?
temporary light needs to go, because 67th, we've been blocked from going
Okay,
that
well,
in that
66.
direction.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
66 Avenue. Thank you, Anna. Is
yeah,
there any
we
way we
need a
can get a
temporary
temporary
light
light
at
there?
66.
I appreciate it. I was following you. Unfortunately, we have been in talks with SHA and looked into all the different options. We can't put a temporary stoplight there just due to the design and all of that. But one thing that we were updating on a little bit is that in what, roughly 2 weeks, 67th will be reopened. But we
Y'all
are,
said that 2 weeks ago that it was going to be open in 2 weeks and it's still closed.
yes, I
You
appreciate
keep
that,
giving us
Loretta.
a
A little
different, you
bit
keep
of
changing the time.
the weather created some problems for us that had us get delayed there a little bit. That's why I got pushed out, but the team will be opening that before the end of the month.
All right, thank you. And my second question is Gallatin Street and 450 Annapolis Road. It takes us almost half an hour in the morning to get out of Gallatin Street onto 450. The traffic light only allows 3 or maybe 4 cars sometimes, and sometimes 2, because the traffic on 450 does not stop when the traffic light turns red. And then when the car, and they're stuck in the middle of 450, so when they're trying to come out of Gallatin, there is no place for those cars to get onto 450, trying to get onto 410. So something needs to be done with the traffic lights.
Okay.
I mean, to take a half an hour to get through one light is ridiculous.
No, I agree, Loretta. So what we'll do, is I'm hearing there's it seems like a lot of traffic light signal timing issues in this area. We'll get a meeting immediately with SHA so that we can walk through this and try to get all of these adjusted as soon as possible. So I
I would really
appreciate you all
appreciate it,
bringing this up.
because it seems like we are prisoners over here in this community. We can't even get out any way we try. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And SHA, I don't know if Robert is still on. I don't know if you wanted to add anything.
Hey, Ray and Loretta. Yeah, we'll flag this intersection. I'll take it back to our office and we'll see if there's any way they can modify the signal timings. It also does seem like it's a bit of an enforcement issue if you're saying that motorists on 450 are also not respecting the red light at the signal and they're just driving or driving through or blocking the intersection. So we'll look into this and see what we can do.
I really would appreciate it. And even sometime on Sunday morning when there's not even a lot of traffic, it has taken me a half an hour to get out of Gallatin trying to get to church. Just because of the traffic light. So I thank you so much.
We will take a look at that and get it addressed. Right. So Joel, let's jump to you, and then Wanda will go to you next.
Thank you. These Metro folks had some issues and problems. The fare invasions, because a lot of people don't even pay for it. The system. I know Baltimore have a system like the fare inspectors. Maybe they should get those fare inspectors on the platform, make sure people are paying.
You are correct. We will have fare inspectors on the Purple Line checking for those fares to ensure that people are paying.
The Metro they had a new fare gate. They had those plastic petitions. So they couldn't even go across that fare gate. They have to pay for it.
That's correct. It's a little bit different. The purple line is a little bit different from WMATA with light rail because it won't be a natural gate you go through. But people will have to pay, and there will be fare inspectors on the trains and around on the alignment checking to ensure people have paid their fares.
That's good, and I still waiting to see how the smart trip would go. I know they are working on it still.
Yes, more details to come on that as we continue the collaboration with WMATA. But it's definitely, you will definitely be able to use your smart trip as that's a requirement for the purple line. So,
And also, if I'm coming from Baltimore, I take the Charm card too.
correct. It will take the charm card.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think I might have said this before. I think the next meeting they're gonna have the Lanesville stop, which is not too far from my work. Now, right now, I use the smart trip card. I don't pay the fare. My employer pays for it. They kind of Metro benefits. So after I retire, I just have to use my own money. So I guess I can insert the money in those machines, so I can add money to the smart trip card.
Yes, everything should work similar to how I do today for you for the smart trip card. So if your employer is putting money on there, that card will be uploaded with the money. You'll be able to use your smart trip card to then get on the purple line and use the services to transfer from WMATA to the purple line and then purple line to WMATA or to any buses or local buses that are in the area.
All right, I guess that's all I have question, but I hope I can make it to Thursday because I have a conflict. The Maryland football coach Lockley going to have a radio show this Thursday. I don't know if I'll be able to go on to this meeting. I might have to skip the meeting or skip the show. I don't know how that's going to work. So I
All
have
right.
to see.
If you're not able to make it, and that's actually a good plug for everyone. If you're not able to make some meetings, the meetings are posted online on our website, so you can view them later on, where you can hear all the questions and the concerns. And any questions that we don't answer tonight, those answers will be posted within a week or two following the meeting. So appreciate the questions, Joel. All right, so we'll jump over to Wanda.
Hey there. Good evening, everyone. I just want to say, first of all, how proud I am of our civic leaders who are on this call. They make you really proud. Every situation that they have mentioned is no exaggeration. Absolutely no exaggeration. But I want to get to 66th Avenue. The whole point of having a police car there was for the officer to direct traffic. That would be extremely helpful if he got out of the car and directed traffic. It's a travesty. When I drive through there, I can't tell you how many times I've been missed, somebody trying to get out of that intersection. But perhaps we need to have that officer get out of that car, move it over to the shopping center, and direct traffic, especially during rush hour.
All right, I appreciate that, Wanda. I've been in communications.
Hey, Wanda. I'm sorry to interrupt, but just Wanda, I just wanted to let Wanda know. Division 1 CAC, the major said that is not the function of that police officer. is not to direct traffic. So I don't know who needs to communicate that or work on that, who needs to get together. But we were
Okay.
told that is not the function of that police officer.
Let me chat with Eric tomorrow.
Okay. Let
That's
me
all
know
I
if you
have. Thanks.
have any other questions, Wanda. And I'll see.
Will do.
I know I've been talking with Eric or Councilmember Olson about this topic, so just let me know if you need any additional information.
Will do. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Jeff again, I think.
Yeah, I just wanted to agree with the situation with the Gallatin light. It affects not only the traffic coming off of Gallatin, but also the traffic on 450, which can back up all the way past the next two traffic lights to the west, which would be Arbic Ardmore on a regular basis, and even to beyond 71st Avenue, which is probably a mile away. I think the real problem with that is the nearness of that intersection light to the 450, 410 intersection light. And that area is going to be even smaller with the what's being taken up from 450 with the tracks for the purple line. So I just wanted to say it's on both sides, and it is very frustrating for everyone in the area. It's a total nightmare bottleneck most times. Thank you.
Appreciate that. All right, Lisa.
Yes.
I saw your hand up. Did you have a questions for us?
Oh. No, maybe it's another Lisa because I don't show my, is it raised? I can take it down. Oh, okay,
There
I'm
you
sorry.
go.
I didn't mean to do that.
All good. Just wanted to double check. We don't want to miss any questions that people have tonight. So now we'll jump back over to the chat. One question, Carla, that I saw come in was about signal timing. So the meeting that I'll get set up with SHA is discuss the signal timing for all of the signals that are along the route in this area so that we can see what we can do to make it better for everyone and make the situations better with the timing along all the routes in this area.
Yeah, I think Cynthia and Ina both had those points. So we'll circle back with that, ladies. There will be a meeting set up.
Okay. So back to you, Carla, on any other questions that came in the chat.
Yeah, there's one more from Cynthia. Have we looked at the roads leading to Beacon Heights Elementary, 6929 Furman Parkway, Riverdale? That's a polling voting location that's very difficult to safely get to due to all of the Purple Line construction on Riverdale Road.
Let us take a look at that. That'll probably be part of this whole discussion with SHA too.
There's another question from Lisa. What are the plans to address people parking within the surrounding communities? Will there be permit parking for residents in the impacted areas?
You want to take that one, Carla?
I mean, we don't handle permit. I think that would be outside of the project scope. If there's going to be permit parking, that would likely have to be handled through the county.
Right.
But I think we can certainly raise it, and get the right people focused on that, Lisa, within the county.
I know there was a representative at National Night Out at Beacon Heights Elementary from the Purple Line, and he mentioned, that's why I brought it up, he mentioned that there are talks about permit parking for the surrounding communities.
I mean, they
we
may
already
be...
have problems now.
Yeah, well, as far as I know, president of Beacon Heights, there is no permit parking in this area. I don't want to say it's been tried, but we have asked, and there is no permit parking.
So the
we
permanent
have it in
parking
our
situation
community,
is
but
a function,
yeah.
the permanent parking is a function of the revenue authority. And it is done by request. And I think, Lisa, are you all assuming that people will be parking their cars to get on the Purple Line? Is that the concern?
Yeah, well, it's a concern that people are going to be doing that from that platform up into our community, because we have people now parking in the community. And we're just concerned, and we do have permit parking. But the concern is that it's going to just grow. It's going to be a bigger issue because the one section coming into our community that is not permitted, it's just a whole row of cars from people that are parking and catching rides elsewhere or walking down to the bottom of the hill. So that's already taking place. And our concern is it's just going to be multiplied once that station opens.
So the way the program works, 60% of the residents have to agree to the program, which makes it difficult, right? You got a house and they've got 7 cars. How many people are going to agree to residential parking permits? Because they're only going to be allowed 3 cars. That is the dilemma.
Okay.
All right. I think that goes down to the, thank you for that, Wanda, for jumping in on that piece. I think that's all of the questions, Carla.
That's everything in chat for now.
All right, and I see no more hands up. Any more questions? If not, if Chris, we can go back one slide. Just a reminder, if you do have any questions that you think of that you didn't ask tonight, you can send it to outreach@purplelinemd.com or give us a call. Also, just want to invite you to follow us if you're on social media platforms or to sign up for our alerts via text or email, which you can do through the website to get any alerts that are going on and finding out all the progress that's happening on the Purple Line. And we're looking forward to bringing even more of the 28 vehicles down to the OMF down at Glen Ridge off Veterans Parkway. Thank you for all the questions and the conversation tonight. We will be right on that, in particular on the SHA meeting. So keep a lookout for a follow-up from that so that we can hopefully get those traffic signal timing issues addressed sooner rather than later. Thank you again. Enjoy your evening, everyone.